Okay. Thank you, Mayor. And as the Mayor has mentioned, we really are today commemorating the 31st anniversary of the ADA by making sure that everybody in our city of Detroit is going to be represented and have an opportunity to have accessible housing, accessible opportunities across the city. We've been making progress, and we're excited to tell you about that progress. So the Mayor already mentioned that in January, we did establish the Office of ODA within the Civil Rights and Inclusion Opportunity Department. We appointed Christopher Samp, who you'll be hearing from soon, who has been our real leader on all of this work across the city. And then in March 2021, we also hired Jamie Jr., our ODA Community Coordinator, who's been working across with our community partners to make sure we're getting input from our disability community. And then finally, we're excited today to tell you about this 3-year strategic plan. So there's 3 different phases for the plan. The first year is really focused on the capacity building that we're doing within CREO. And I just want to first start by saying that you all can't see them right now, but there are so many partners in this room, from city departments to advocates, who are the real heroes of making sure that this was possible. A plan across the city is not possible without the buy-in of every single partner that's here today. And I'm so thrilled and proud of how many leaders across our city and heads of departments have been part of this initiative. So thank you to them. The first thing that we're going to really be working on within CREO is really increasing that public engagement. We've already started doing that through the ARPA funding. We actually had one meeting that was dedicated specifically to our disability community to make sure we could get their input across that $420 million that our mayor was able to secure to really bring to this city. Second, we'll be working on actually establishing a liaison in every single department, so that if any employee ever has questions about what they need to do in terms of understanding ADA or just need more information about what the Office of Disability Affairs is doing, they can actually go to that person within their department. Third, we're working on developing just normal operation procedures to make sure we can get your complaints in a very fast and efficient way and make sure that you're getting a response from us. Our mayor has really pushed being a data-driven city, and CREO is no different. So we're doing the exact same thing. We are really going to focus on making sure that we are able to take in all the complaints. We'll look at those complaints and solve individual problems, but then we also want to look at those complaints in the aggregate so that then we can really make systematic improvements across the city around policy or training. And we are also working on increasing funding for programs in general operations. This you will see as the ARPA funding continues to roll out. In every single one of the areas that was voted on by City Council, our disability community's asks and needs were included in that. And you'll even see $1 million was recently approved by the Detroit-Wayne Joint Building Authority to make sure that there's improvements within KMAC. And then finally, of course, we'll evaluate ourselves on how well we're doing on this plan, and we'll be reporting out to you with more information. So now I'm going to turn it to our leader, our fearless leader on this, Christopher Samp, who is the Office of Disability Affairs Director, and I will turn it to him now.
To our director, Ms. Russell, and Mr. Mayor. Now, I'll go ahead and discuss phase 2. So for phase 2, the city impacting this year means we're going to be working closely with the city departments on policies and procedures and how to make those better. One thing that we will be doing is looking back at our offices for evaluating our performances. Are we meeting our potential and our goals? 2, improve disability awareness, where we're working with HR, the HR department, for example, in developing a curriculum and a series of different workshops for city employees to be able to learn more about disabilities in the community. 3, objective 3 is to improve our sidewalk situation, accessibility when it comes to parking, and also transportation in general. Number 4, increasing our outreach to the disabled communities for our city employees, for city employment opportunities. We'd like to offer internships, hire people full-time, part-time as staff. Number 5, increase our accessibility in our digital content. So anytime we have a video, we want to make sure there's captioning, make sure that there's a PDF file or a Word document so that an individual will be able to read what's being said on screen. And making sure that information is accurate, for example. Number 6, increase disability awareness for our city emergency preparedness plans. That's going to assist the disabled community on how to respond in emergency situations, on what resources are available for us, and encouraging the community and educating them with how to handle emergency preparedness. Number 7, improve access to accessible housing. So we know that we're developing a map where, which would allow individuals to find housing that has accessible units. For example, that's part of phase 2. That should be beginning in 2022. Now I'm going to discuss phase 3, community impact that year. Our objective is to make sure that we can impact the community positively as a whole. We want the community to evaluate our offices. We want to meet our 2022 goals. Number 2, we plan to improve our legal officers and our law enforcement and our emergency responders and their interactions with people with disabilities. For example, recently we had a PSA, a public service announcement about service dogs. We sent that over to the police department internally so they can understand how that works when a person has a service animal. Number 3, increase disability employment rate in Detroit. We're going to encourage businesses and nonprofit organizations to hire people with disabilities and increase our numbers of employment for these individuals in our city. Number 4, improve equitable access to health care. For example, recently, when our vaccines, we prioritize vaccines for our disabled, we want to make sure our disabled community has equal access and resources. That's all of our priorities for those are all of our priorities for our strategic plans currently, and we want to make sure that we get equal rights because that's something we deserve, and outreach to our full potential. I'm going to use this opportunity now to ensure that we do everything that we can to influence policy changes toward a universal participation and increase accessibility. I look forward to working with our community, partners, and our disability advocates to transform Detroit to be more of a warm and inclusive, accessible city. So, to see the full plan, it's available on our website, www.detroitmi.gov/disability, to be able to look at our full plan. And we also have our contact information for myself and my colleague, Jamie Jr. Our emails are christopher.samp@detroitmichigan.gov, and then there's jamie.jr@detroitmichigan.gov. So thank you very much. I'm going to turn this over now.
Good afternoon. I'm Lisa Franklin, and I'm the CEO and founder of Warriors on Wheels of Metropolitan Detroit. And this is a huge announcement today, and we are proud and happy to be a part of it. It's been a long time coming. We worked tirelessly over 10 years ago when the charter was opened the first time to get an Office of Disability Concerns placed in there. So we've worked for the past 10, 12 years to make sure that people with disabilities in the city are not forgotten. So I'm glad to see the strong structure of how the city plans to move forward to make sure that people with disabilities are not forgotten. And I'm telling you, it's long, long overdue. People are really tired, falling through the cracks. And so to hear that we're being considered for employment and things are going to change in transportation and housing accessibility to affordable housing is just a win-win, and we look forward to working with the city. Thank you to the administration for allowing us to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. This is Dessa. I'm the founding director of Detroit Disability Power, and I want to first thank the mayor, the Office of Disability Affairs, and the Civil Rights, Inclusion, and Opportunity Office for this significant strategic plan and for the opportunity to say a few words this morning. Since the fall of 2018, Detroit Disability Power has fought to organize and build the political power of Detroit's disability community. One of the reasons that our organization exists is to ensure that our politicians and our government officials make and deliver on commitments such as this strategic plan. As you may have heard, there are more than 128,000 disabled residents in our city. More than 117,000 are of voting age, so we are an excellent group to consider. We are a very diverse group, not only in terms of a wide variety of disabilities, both visible and invisible, but also in terms of all of our other demographics. For example, 106,000 of Detroit's disabled residents are also African American. So all of these things are intersectional and impact all of our families here in Detroit. This plan reflects that complexity and the myriad ways that our community has to stop falling through the cracks. It's also about capacity building, assessing our government, and measuring community impact for a more prosperous future for everybody in our city. We believe this can be a manual for humanity. So we ask the Office of the Mayor to please stay this path. It means a great deal to hundreds of thousands of Detroiters. And we sincerely look forward to working with all of you in co-creating a city where we can be our full selves and live the way that we need to. Thank you.
And I would like to take a moment to invite up all of our partners who have been part of this within the city. I think the best way to do that might be to just file on a couple people. John, could we file a couple people? I just want our other partners to be able to be seen, who really made this happen.
Fan in on the sides here, so we can let everybody see.
And again, as they're walking up, just want to say, once again, thank you to Lisa Franklin, thank you to Dessa, to your organizations for everything that you've done to push this forward, and then thank you to every single one of these individuals who have made this plan possible and are committed to working with us to make this a more accessible city. So thank you again. Oh, yes, and questions. He just reminded me. Any questions?
Any reporter questions today on this topic? Okay. Looks like we're good for that. So
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
And if you've got a question on the story, you want to do that separately? The pumping station stuff.
Yeah, you really need to talk to Gary. So, anyway, I'll be glad to talk to you, but
Yeah,
I just
just
don't.
give me 5 minutes
Gary's
of your
got the
time.
information. I don't have 5 minutes of information for you. Thank you guys all very much.
It is so quiet in here.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.